Can one of you tell me why the ESA is so committed to ruining E3? Why are they so determined to destroy the pinnacle of gaming? They say they want to fix it, they want to revive the show, they want to do the right thing, but in actuality, they are stabbing me in the heart and stabbing the heart of gaming. Because E3 means so much to so many people. For me, if I trace it back, E3 is the reason why I wanted to start a gaming YouTube channel. Because I see myself sitting there every June and witnessing 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 plus awesome new games be revealed. I see myself watching Reggie waltz on stage and deliver something awe-inspiring or goofy or disappointing. But it was such a defining moment every June of my childhood, and it made me want to be a part of this industry in some capacity. And I know it's done the same for so many others. But now, thanks to a leaked presentation, we know that the ESA does not want E3 to be special, does not want it to be the pinnacle of gaming. They want it to be a festival. They want to make it just like every other convention. And they want to populate it with experiences, Queuetainment, apps, celebrities, and totally dilute what has made E3 the most wonderful week of the year. What's going on, everybody? It's GhostRobo, and gosh, at the end of the day, whatever. We get great games. We're about to enter a new gen of consoles. The Switch is killing it. Indies are better than ever. The recent releases have been fantastic, so at the end of the day, it's okay. Gaming is going good. But my goodness, I love E3. And the reason E3 is great is not because of some elitist reason that only certain people are allowed to go. No, the reason E3 is great is because it features so many reveals. And it features so many hands-on impressions. And it features so many trailers, so much gameplay, so much brand new goodness. And why has it featured so much of that in the past? Because it was a media-centric event, a press-focused experience. As they brought in more and more of the public, publishers get shyer and shyer about what they can and what they want to show. It's just facts. PAX used to have 1 to 2 jaw-dropping reveals, and now they're getting more. But back in the day, E3 would have like 50. They'd have like 50 games. You were like, oh my God, I can't believe that was just shown off. I can't believe that just happened. I realized that I didn't really clarify this point, so I want to give you a bit more info. The reason that in the past there were so many more games and so many early looks is because the publishers and developers felt more comfortable given that it was a media and press only event. And whether you agree with it or not, the facts are they feel more okay showcasing something that is rough, early, and maybe not even representative of the true final product if it is a press media event versus a public event where consumers who eventually will be buying the games have a chance to see something that they might not feel good about. And it's okay that they wanted to bring in some of the public. They started to add and filter in consumers a couple years ago, and they added more last year, and they're gonna add even more. They want to bring in 10,000 more people for 25,000 consumer badges sold. And I guess that part of it is okay. It gives a lot more people an opportunity to go. I still think it dilutes the waters and makes it feel a lot more like PAX, but okay. It's the rest of the presentation that has me insanely worried. But it's no secret that the last 2 years, and the last show in particular, have been big bummers. The major reveals, the surprising moments have been few and far between. The press conferences are dying off, evaporating into thin air. Major publishers and platform holders are choosing to be elsewhere. It was not a great show at the LA Convention Center this year. But rather than doubling down on what used to make E3 awesome, the ESA is taking things in a different direction. They are trying to make this a hoopla experience for everyone. And I'm going to go through what they want to do. And I'll say right now, there are 2 things that I think are really cool. Kind of like 2.5, maybe even 3. So we'll get to those. But first, guys, they want to take the show floor. And it's because it's sparse. It's because it doesn't have the oomph that it used to. PlayStation, Sony, they just sat out this year. Xbox moved across the street. What the heck? 2 of the 3 pieces of the Triforce of gaming aren't even at the biggest show of the year. So I guess it isn't the biggest show of the year anymore. And here's what they're going to do to try and save it. They are going to put in entertainment experience pods throughout the show floor. So as you're walking to test out the next great Nintendo game, you're going to be bombarded by something that they want you to snap on social media, or something that makes you distracted and want to stop and stare. They have suggested 2 ideas for these pod experiences. You want to know what they are? Number 1, have LA Laker basketball players playing a basketball game to a cheering crowd. Number 2, have leading actors playing in a video game tournament to a cheering crowd. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm at a convention, I could care less about watching an NBA player playing the latest NBA 2K. I don't know, maybe for some people that's really exciting, but it seems so corny. It seems so forced. They want to involve more celebrities? They talked about paying celebrities to be there, and the members of the ESA, the big publishers and companies, said, no, we're not doing that, but we're okay with them being there. So they're going to try to have more celebrity-infused stuff. Like, I like it when celebrities of gaming get to talk, like the E3 Coliseum thing. That's a pretty good idea, and one of the parts that I like about what they're doing is they're going to add more panels and talks up on the second floor, which I think is nifty. I'd like to hear some of those. I'd like to see some of those, and I'll get it out of the way now. The other really cool thing they're doing is talking about selling a digital ticket where you would get a curated pack of demos that companies put forth for you to play from home. I think that is a home run. So as much as they're trying to destroy the actual show, they're doing those of you at home a solid. They floated the idea of an in-theater experience similar to what PlayStation has done for the PlayStation experience, but nobody wanted a part of that. The digital ticket, though, they're considering. No guarantees, but it sounds like it's going to come, and I think that would have been a dream come true to 15-year-old me, to know that I got to play a piece of the E3 puzzle, and that's why they should just keep E3 as an exclusive media press event. Maybe a few public tickets here or there so that they can have the biggest, best games. And if they're able to pass some of them along as this digital ticket in demo form, great. But you know what else they want to do to E3? They want publishers to rethink their booths, and they want to add more classic titles that make people remember why they love certain franchises. So when you go to E3, this big, bold event that's supposed to be the cutting edge for everything new, you might find yourself playing an old Call of Duty that people used to love, or maybe Grand Theft Auto 5, since that was a big fan favorite. Nobody wants to pay to go play old games. I don't care how much good vibes it gives off. That is not what this show is about. The other reality here, just to be thorough, is that so many companies don't need to be a part of E3 anymore. There are so many opportunities to interact directly with their fans, to engage with them via Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. They don't need to pay a bunch of money for a big booth. And that's why we've seen companies drop like flies out of the show. So I understand from a monetary and business sense standpoint, maybe E3 just doesn't make as much sense. But boy, do I wish it did. I wish we could go back to the old days where it was this amazing, magical week that felt like Christmas. They also want to have Queuetainment, like when you're in the line queue, you have entertainment. It's probably going to be some sort of app that you mess around with. Queuetainment sounds like a bogus term that some social media expert came up with to get the youngins involved and get them sharing on Snapchat and Instagram. Reviewers are already sick of E3. And yeah, I think some of them are quite jaded because it's still magical that we get to go and experience the best of gaming. But more than ever, it's turning into a carnival. And that's not what E3 is supposed to be. I think PAX even handles things quite well. It's totally consumer focused, but they do things in a very smart way. I really like the experience of PAX. I was at East earlier this year, and I had so much fun going from booth to booth, exploring indie games that I'd never even heard of, and getting a chance to talk to the developers in person. But E3 is supposed to be different, and now it seems like they just want to be the same, or some weird approximation of what already exists. They're talking about introducing a way to reserve demo appointments via an app in order to create FOMO and make people circling the booths feel like they're missing out, which seems like a really weird shtick to try and once again get people to share on social media, which is not what E3 is about. It is about the people you trust and the people you look to for your gaming news and information, playing the latest games, playing those really rough builds, but getting some juicy details for you to get excited about for the coming holiday season, not going back and watching people play old Call of Duties or LA Lakers participating in some sort of oddball tournament. The last positive thing that they talked about was bringing in more social good and focusing on how gaming makes a positive difference in the community and the world at large. They want to connect with influencers and celebrities, and rather than pay them, help them donate to a charity of their choice, which I think is a really nice idea, and I'm glad to see them focus on the positive good side of gaming, because we get so many negative stories about individuals, studios, crunch, etc. It would be nice to focus on something positive, happy, and beneficial for a change. But I'm so freaking worried that next year, which is supposed to be a big bombastic year given that PS5 and Xbox Scarlet are coming next fall, it's gonna be the worst. It's gonna be a weird, hybrid social media event where people are jumping up and down for prizes being thrown into the audience, and then you see Jeff Gerstmann over there trying to get by and play a game so you can hear his impressions. And there's gonna be pods of celebrities, actors who don't really know much about games trying to play some tournament as everyone else tries to walk around and avoid the chaos just to get to their next appointment. I don't know how alone I am in this mindset, but I don't go to E3 to party or hang out with friends. I go to get stuff done and to see a bunch of games so I can bring coverage back to you guys, and so I can explore myself and figure out where the industry is headed, talk to as many people as I can, and try to learn where the different genres are going and growing. To me, that's important and it's fun. It just depresses me to know that they want to double down on FOMO, sharing on social media, and celebrities. It just feels like that's not what E3 should be about. But perhaps we're past the point of no return and this is the only way to get a show. Like, without these wacko changes, there wouldn't even be an E3 2020. And I guess at the end of the day, I'd rather there be some E3 than no E3. It's just a shadow of itself. Way less press conferences, way less exclusives, way less reveals, and way more goofiness. Now, they are going to mimic Gamescom and have a industry day. The first day will be only for press and media, and then the other two will be open to everybody. But one day shouldn't be enough to get all your E3 work done. There should be many more appointments and many more games and many more interesting stories to chase than you can fit in one day. And there probably will be, and people will probably be frustrated and it probably won't work out that great, but they will get a lot of shares on social media, for whatever that's worth. I guess I wish that kids of today got to experience the E3 that I experienced when I was younger, what motivated me and excited me to explore gaming further. Because now they're going to see this strange show, which is mostly flash and not much substance. It's not going to have as many cool reveals, it won't mean as much, and they'll never get to experience the joy of waking up in the summer and watching the press conferences, scheduling everything out, making sure that your friends knew you were busy so that you could keep tabs on every new game that was being revealed. It just sucks that kids of today and my kids won't get to experience E3 for the special one-of-a-kind event that it once was. That miraculous moment, that Christmas-like feeling. They won't get it, and we won't either. Because as much as we all love the Nintendo Directs and like seeing our favorite game companies come online with something really cool to show, you gotta admit it's not the same as having it all in one spot, having one really big week to circle on the calendar and wait passionately and excitedly for. It's just not the same. Look, at this point, I'm part of the old guard. I'll be 30 years old the next time E3 rolls around, and so maybe I just gotta get with the times and modernize, but I hate to see things that were mainstays and major important pieces of my life and many others be destroyed by societal pressures and social media. I feel like so much is ruined by those two things. I just can't imagine next year walking through West Hall trying to go see Breath of the Wild 2, and as I pass by, there's Kyle Kuzma, Jack Black, and Tim Schafer all duking it out in Just Dance 2021. Does anyone want to see that? Okay, maybe a few of you, but come on, that's not what E3 should be. It's supposed to be this special spectacular. And while I do like the idea of a digital ticket, and I hope they follow through with that, and while I'm intrigued by more talks and discussions, and I think the focus on social good is definitely a positive one, I don't like where things are headed. And I don't like that they're trying to dilute E3 and make it a super generic festival type experience. And look, this isn't because I want E3 to be some elitist event that only a select few can attend. It's because in order for the best games to get revealed, in order for the most cool stuff to happen, it has to stay kind of condensed, kind of small scale, at least in terms of attendees and in terms of how it's structured. Because if it blows out to be something like a PAX, it's just not going to have the same impact on the industry. And it's not going to have the same impact on you watching from home. It just won't. That's the reason this bothers me. It's not because E3 should be so limited and so exclusive. It's because that's the best way for this show to be the best it can be. It just sounds silly. They really should be doubling down on what they need to do to get EA, Microsoft, Sony back in the building. And if this is what those publishers want them to do in order to get back on board, then man, maybe we do have bigger problems than E3 in the gaming industry. But like I said at the top, at the end of the day, we've got the games, and that's what counts. They've been awesome lately, from Gears 5 to Control, Borderlands 3 to Blasphemous. I've been loving what I've been playing, and that's what matters most. That's my take, but give me yours in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about E3, especially if you're someone that's watched for years like I have, even when I was a kid. And it made me want to be a part of this and be a part of something bigger and really just go full bore into gaming. Did you ever feel like that? And does it make you sad that E3 seems to be floundering? Let me know in the comments down below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Drink some hot chocolate. I'm going to go get a cup. It always makes me feel better. Until next time, thanks again. We'll see you all later.